This is an automated courtesy announcement. The emotional response you requested is no longer available. No forwarding information is available, so please proceed without any further requests on our time, attention, or energy.
Hey, it is Halicue. Listen, 92%. Before I begin, let me state for the record that today is July 21st, 2026. And Black women of the 92% know exactly what the problem with this benighted nation is. And the answer is going to hurt. The problem is going to feel painful to you. But I want you to brace yourself, America. You need this good word from American Black women. In fact, you are welcome in advance. For those joining us for the first time, welcome to the Hey It's Halicue podcast, a special Dear Benighted States of America edition. Dear Benighted States of America is a tersely worded letter to this nation from the women who actually built it. Black American women. Our community is called the 92%, and we are Black women voters. Voters who made 7 crucial decisions that we practice every day on the Sunshine Report, my morning live, political news, joy cultivation, and intelligence briefing broadcast on YouTube, Substack, and TikTok every morning at around 9-ish Pacific time. Which reminds me, today's broadcast is brought to you today by Okra, the sparkling okra water. It is a delicious, deep hydration beauty beverage that is the drinkable foundation of my skincare routine. Okra is pure okra water without any of the slime and mess of homemade. The taste and mouth feels very light. It's deliciously effervescent with the very slightly sweet taste of pineapple, mango, or pomegranate. History teaches us that our enslaved ancestors carried okra seeds in the cornrows and locks of their hair from the west coast of Africa to the Americas through the Middle Passage. And now the wellness properties and deep hydration benefits of okra water is available to us now in a delicious sparkling beverage with 0 artificial sweetness. At only 20 thirst-quenching sparkling calories, it is a wellness beverage created and powered by Black women. That is absolutely correct. Okra is Black woman owned. And I am so proud as one of the founding voices of the 92% community to offer you exclusive savings for our community. Just click my Shop My link in the show notes for exclusive savings or enter the code Halicue during checkout at drinkokra.com. Now back to the show. As a thought and imagination leader for the 92%, aka Black women voters, these letters to the Benighted States of America are entered into the public record because someday historians are going to ask, did no one see this coming? And I just needed everyone to know, oh yes, Black American women, we saw it. We clocked it. We documented it. And just before we begin, please indulge us in a quick review, a definition of terms, if you will. Benighted. Benighted means plunged into intellectual or moral darkness through ignorance, lacking enlightenment. Ain't no excuses in that definition. America, you are benighted. I point this out because in their latest edition, The Atlantic reminded readers of something history has already taught us once before. Civilizations don't always collapse because they lose wars or are stricken with famine or a natural disaster. Sometimes nations collapse because they wage war on knowledge itself. The Atlantic goes on to explain that when the ancient Library of Alexandria was burned down, the world didn't just lose a building full of rare, painstakingly written books and manuscripts. Civilization lost generations of accumulated wisdom. Historians, shout out to Coach Dad, still debate exactly how much disappeared, but what followed became synonymous with centuries of intellectual decline. That loss of knowledge was instrumental in plunging white folk into the Dark Ages. Today, this Benighted States of America appears determined to conduct the exact same fucked up experiment. Except make it on purpose. Voluntarily do it. Make it self-inflicted. Our benighted nation cannot keep pretending that we're out innovating the world while simultaneously teaching our children to distrust learning, higher education, and the mastery of critical thought. This Benighted States of America cannot lead the future and keep up this pretense of being the preeminent white, I meant power, the preeminent power, while proudly marching backward into superstition, white grievance, and manufactured, frighteningly willful ignorance. So today's letter from Black women voters really isn't entirely or just about politics. It is about what happens when a nation founded and fed on the miserable lie of white supremacy, the violent oppression. The cost is a nation that is self-immolating because it's been force-feeding its white citizens and many marginalized, often newly immigrated groups, racism, and then intentionally misnaming ignorance for some kind of American authenticity, ugly and outright contempt for intelligence as some kind of like alpha male strength. It's been pushing anti-intellectualism for patriotism. And just between us, 92%, as a certified Black girl nerd, is that anti-intellectualism that's truly going to have this country full circle fucked up. And unfortunately, to you, America, by the end of today, July 21st, you have left us, the 92%, with yet another exhibit to submit. And so now, and for the record, dear Benighted States of America, the reason you are in such misery and pain is because you are old. Too old, America. You are still run by elected leaders, mostly old, desiccated white men hell-bent on maintaining a literal death grip on the levers of power. You all know somebody like him. Mississippi, my home state, is full of them. Some grizzled old former factory worker who's proud to tell anyone after he's had a couple of drinks that his daddy was on the local White Citizens Council. True story. He's the one who never got over the fact that the battery factory in town where his daddy and his daddy worked, it closed down and the labor was outsourced to Vietnam. And from the moment Reagan's old ass arrived on the political scene, has been a slow ride to hell. And when finally Don the Con, Donald J. Trump, the stunt queen in chief, ushered the Republican Party into ubiquitous power across all three branches of our highly corruptible government, when they climbed into the nation's driver's seat, the ride got real scary. Like not just bumpy or unstable, like straight up scary. You know, the way an abusive boyfriend or spouse will use the car to frighten and control his victim, revving the engine, swerving all over the road because you confronted him about his cheating and toxic relationship with his bald-headed mama. America, you are beyond just being a cantankerous, dying old white boomer. You are now officially dementia-addled, psychopathic, and low-key suicidal. And you're walking around here like you have no idea. You are sick and a liar, America. You are like that spray tan golf bag. That pussy grabbing asshole at the bar trying to hide the strokes he's had and the bruises and the liver spotted ham hands where the poor nurses keep trying to find good veins. But even if you keep the rest of the nation and some over the hill, hatchet faced, blonde country club, Mar-a-Lago face, Botoxed and filled bimbos fool, please trust and believe you cannot fool Black women. Too many of us work in healthcare, have had to care for an ailing, dying loved one. We know you, America, for exactly who and what you are. And just like the racist old cuss at the nursing home, we know the reason you can be drowning in the pitiful, stagnant water of dementia, yet still yell out the N-word and take swings at us. And, you know, you don't care who you take a swing at, taxpayers, voters, the reporters who ask you questions that you struggle to answer. You don't care because you are old, America. You think it's still the 80s and you the hot new shit. And the men admire you and the hoes just love you. Like a lot of old despots and dictators of the so-called banana republic shithole countries we used to make fun of America. You dyed your hair, you spray tanned your skin, and you've gotten some of the worst plastic surgery we've ever seen, all to try to impress the young people who despise you. Now that they're realizing you sold them into a forever war that they're going to have to fight once you finally mercifully take permanently to your sickbed. Oh, but Black women, the 92%, we understand exactly what's going on. We know pain, and we can look at you, America, and know that your sorry, aching old body parts hurt from the moment you open your eyes to when you collapse into a bed strewn with Frito-Lay bags, Diet Coke cans, and old McDonald's cartons. And we'll tell you something else, America. Before there was ever an Epstein Island or a Zorro Ranch, Black women know that there was the plantation house. We know your insatiable, violent, lustful ways. And oh, how that lust is reflected in that of your dear leader in the White House. We know your old ass is in agony. Just like your stunt queen and chief staff can't make a Ivanka visit but they will always attend to his perversion by making sure there's plenty of simple-minded, adoring young pussy genuflecting near him in the right house. But America, we also know that all the Viagra in the world can't help you get it up on the world stage now. Listen, old man, we know that makes you mad. And you can take that impotent rage-filled anger out on the nation every single day. Thank God the 92% movement teaches Black women how to ignore that and be indifferent to your ass and remain emotionally distant from your temper tantrums and your rages. We also suspect that the reason your leader, the stunt queen in chief, has been extra spicy last week is because finally, in paying E. Jean Carroll her almost $6 million settlement, the world finally knows beyond a doubt that he is an adjudicated rapist and that people like us, the 92% and the historians, will add that to his long list of deficiencies and failings. Dear Benighted States, Black women voters also know your people. Your stunt queen and the people who identify with and want to emulate him, the ones who keep voting to keep that sick, bewigged, spray-tanned old stunt queen and his lick spittles in office. Yeah, we know that they never really understood one very important lesson about America that Black women have known from the time we could understand. And that is that life is not fair. No, indeed, America, life has never been fair. And Black women of the 92% have been locked in on this age-old home truth since our enslaved ancestors were dragged here in 1619 and forced into the barbarism and cruelty of chattel slavery. And when our parents first held us by the shoulders, looked sadly into our beautiful, curious, trusting faces and told us this, that life is not fair. What did Black women do? We coped by studying and working twice as hard for a fraction of the benefit that your favorites, white folks, particularly white men, receive. And because they started to feel the in real life, in-person sting of life ain't fair, as a way to get back to their rightful spot in the supremacist hierarchy, your ignorant, uncouth, and benighted Republican citizens elected the stunt queen in chief. America, you're not just old, you're irrational and decrepit. You're sick, and it shows, not just because your face is sliding off the bone and your cankles are running over your shoe tops. No, it is because you were raving and deluded by your bullying Nepo baby past. America, you have outlived your purposefulness as a world power. Your Secretary of State, Little Marco, is dead set on destroying the International Criminal Court, covering up God knows what for God knows who, for God only knows how much. Your decrepitude has you making wildly stupid decisions, like letting Israel talk you into another forever war. You destroyed your own public school systems, America, and you never studied your own history, much less that of other nations. And because of that, you fell into the trap that neither Hillary or Barack could ever have been lulled into. And that is another war in the Middle East. Every day, America, you waffle, lie, aggress, then backtrack with your policy. When our NATO friends invite you over and try to reason with you, you're barely able to stand upright and hold still for a photo. You insult and grandstand, all while walking around sweaty, flatulent, and alternately fawning and flailing. You are an embarrassment, America. And although you loudly claim the contrary through your incompetent mouthpieces, the world is finally and quite literally laughing at you. You manifested it. Congratulations. The world and your own intelligence agencies also know that you leak like a sieve and sell information like a painted whore. America, you wizened racist old coot. Black women are locked in on living our best lives. We made 7 crucial decisions. And we have practiced strategies like organized indifference, economic activism that keep us steady and regulated when your old ass is flailing around, destroying and wreaking havoc like the dying dinosaur that you are. Yeah, and the lessons learned and passed down to us from our ancestors, the ones whose suffering you have taught us to be ashamed of, well, many of us are deconstructing from your so-called state religion that you used to justify our torture and enslavement. We know how to call upon the ancestors, meditate, dance, create, and generate our own power to thrive, heal, prosper, and exact a little well-earned revenge. So Black women, the 92%, will be fine. Better than fine. We understand science, evolution, genetics, epigenetics. Your racist brainwashing is officially down the drain as far as we're concerned, and the result is resplendent. Just look at us. We know that we are the blueprint. Our blood and tears watered the clay that made the bricks of this nation's foundations. Black women, the 92%, we have grit, determination, AI, and Beyonce's internet at our disposal. So even though you tried to kneecap us by ejecting us wholesale from our stable government jobs, we have survived so much worse. Imagine, if you will, one of my ancestors, great-grandma Mamie, or Grandma Halicue even. Both were Black women whose husbands owned property, small businesses, and farmed land, grew crops, and sent their Black children to college during the Depression and after World War II. Our ancestors laugh at your attempts to bankrupt us. Black women, no matter how gently we were raised, we eat resilience for breakfast, and we quench our thirst on the clear waters of intuition and the sweet, sour nectars of education and entrepreneurship, America. We will absolutely survive your destruction. But the rest of your sorry-ass inbred citizenry, we don't know what to say. Your women ain't got no heart. Your sons ain't got no backbones. So who knows? Who cares? We don't know. The ones that support and align with us got a fighting chance, but for the rest, tough fucking luck. Whatever the fuck happens to them, it's just gonna happen to them. And we know you've got a whole new scheme cooked up to try to serve us too, America. Your stunt queen's favorite little lick spittle, Lindsey Graham, went tits up last weekend, and we know that one hit him hard. Israel, who is now the tail that wags the dog, has convinced the stunt queen that Iran wants him dead. What's left of your intelligence agencies has probably warned him that Russia likes to play with poison. And your entire staff has their fingers and toes crossed that the Orange Menace won't spill the beans about Mitch McConnell being kept on ice in a morgue somewhere in Kentucky. It's odd, America. You've never been more afraid of death. And that's funny because Black women know for absolute sure that you are godless. And this little coup preview the stunt queen pulled Thursday night prime time, like so many boomers, the cruelty, this slow rolling, stressing the nation the fuck out, the temper tantrums, the bullying, the irrationality are the point, right? His crazy accusations. Did ChatGPT write his speech? To be fair to us, there were too many lies to count. We've just come to accept that lying is just the way you talk, America. And yo stunt queen citing old, been declassified information, claiming China interfered, Michigan's running a voter registration fraud scheme. Spoken like someone that has no idea how a voter registration is even won or how votes are counted. Claiming 250,000 non-citizens voted. Name hustling President Obama per usual. You know, America, many of the 92%, myself included, don't even think you understand most of what the stunt queen even reads off the teleprompter. And your voters damn sure don't understand it. His speech was an attempt to soft launch fascism for real, just in time for the midterms, because the truth is, the only way Republicans can win if they cheat and if they keep the rest of us away from the ballot box. Try as the stunt queen will, this full-blown go at dictatorship is because MAGA is finally waking up and realizing that you sold them out to billionaires, technocrats, and skeevy donors. The internal polling shows that the racism and xenophobia are no match for a full belly and gas in the tank. Through social media and the internet, the nation is waking up and about to abandon you to wander your last days in a haunted, stinking old elder care home, America. Dear benighted states of America, you have raised up a legion of incompetents, frauds, racists, and anti-intellectuals. You have convinced white women to volunteer for the Handmaid's Tale and hoodwinked white men into thinking that being anti-DEI would hand them the jobs, clout, education, beauty, swag, and status that way too many Black folks are enjoying, in spite of your best efforts at dulling and blunting our lives. America, many of your citizens can't spell affordability. And you know that the plebes are getting wise to your capitalist swindling and that this November is going to be a bloodbath for your leaders. So you do what any cruel-hearted rich old boomer with a dangling useless dig would do. Cheat harder. Take the drugs. Keep stealing. In your name, America, your avatar, Donald Trump, stood up there, lied to the whole world about so-called election fraud in 2020, his watch. And just like an emperor with no clothes and no clue, he's about to try to delegitimize the one shining jewel left in your damn trophy chest. Free and fair elections. Miss Lindsay is dead as a doornail. Mitch is on ice in the bowels of a morgue in Kentucky. So to keep your racist, capitalist experiment in bullying, lust, and greed, you need 2 senators to try to perpetuate one last crime, your last big heist before you retire, right? So now, Stunt Queen Donnie is going to lie on 2 good-looking, intelligent public servants who earned their Senate seats and were sent to victory in Washington, D.C. by their Black constituents in Fulton County, Georgia. And to this, The Black women of the 92% would like to offer you, the Benighted States of America, a hearty fuck you. In summation, you are old, America, too old to serve. Your parts don't work anymore. The meat suit you were born with is leaky, broken, and decomposing faster than Mitch McConnell's non-existent blue lips. You have lost all your faculties. Any connection to the lies of even your founding principles have gone the way of the VCR. You were a raging, old, impotent narcissist, America. And even though you thought Black women were still in the back seat of this old jalopy of a country, that you were going to Thelma and Louise our asses off over a cliff, what you never noticed was Black women pressed the eject and dove the fuck out of this rolling dumpster fire the day after the election in 2024. And now we are free of you, old man. Enjoy the view on the way down to your fiery demise. Dear Benighted States of America, when you finally shuffle off this mortal coil, it will be to our raucous laughter, celebration, and tears of thanksgiving that you are gone. Your time as a superpower is nearly done. We consulted the lawyers, and we know that the will is ironclad. The bag is secure, and judging from how things are looking, Black women stand ready and very willing to inherit. And with that, we invite you to start walking into the light disrespectfully. The 92%. This letter to the Benighted States of America is brought to you by the sunshinedirectory.info, our 92% community's Black and Black woman-owned business directory. If you have, know, love, or want to recommend a Black woman-owned business or service provider, please add it to our directory. We want our thriving community of Black women voters to find and patronize your business and service. This week's featured business is Brown Sugar by Kesha Janan. Brown Sugar is luxury, handcrafted body care for the woman who demands the cleanest and purest creams, soaps, and oils to moisturize and protect her magical melanated skin. Use code Halicue92 for exclusive listener pricing. We love you, Kesha Janan, and we know our listeners will love Brown Sugar body care. It is my now go-to after every shower, bath, and hairstyling session. My favorite is the lavender jasmine kissed body and hair oil. Remember, 92%, we are facilitating a massive wealth transfer back into our own community. We're amplifying and spending our precious dollars with this nation's most precious resource, Black women. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Hey, It's Halicue, a special Dear Benighted States of America edition. Please follow the 92% movement on TikTok, join our podcast community on Substack, subscribe to our newsletter, and of course, please hang out with us on YouTube. The Sunshine Report goes live day mornings around 9-ish on TikTok and YouTube and Substack. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. See you next time on the Hey, It's Halicue.